Mama Liberia? What will they do for the country?
No, if we pay our fair share of revenue, we will get energy, we will get electricity, we will get water. You know, our schools will be built, our clinic will be built, our hospital will be built. You know, we will get roads going to our home. I'm from Swimmaker District. If I pay my taxes, road will go to Swimmaker District. If you're from Bokonjide or Grand Cru County or maybe Zweju, Grand Jide County, there will be a modern paved road, a university being built there.
Hello, this is Tax Talk. Tax Talk is a production and presentation by the Liberia Revenue Authority, the LRA, and it's right here on LNTV. I'm Elvin Jask. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Liberians, they pay our taxes. They pay our taxes. Hello, Liberians, they pay our taxes. They pay our taxes. The ROACs, they pay our taxes. They pay our taxes.
Mama Liberia needs all the needed resources to stand on its own. In the past, or as we speak, donor aid is largely what Mama Liberia is depending on. As such, Liberians, like you see in the back, are being told to pay their fair share of lawful revenue due Mama Liberia. So the question comes about how can Liberia raise its own resources. In recent time, the president of Liberia, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, has been emphasizing the need for domestic resource mobilization.
Clearly, official development assistance will at some point decline and maybe end. We have to be able to raise the revenue ourselves. To do so, however, we have to grow the economy. The ultimate objective is, of course, to increase domestic revenue so that we are in the position to finance our reconstruction on our own.
This is the Liberia Revenue Authority, the LRA, with headquarters right here at Elwa Junction in Monrovia, the capital of Mama Liberia. The current head of the LRA, Commissioner General, CEO, and Secretary of the Board, Madam Frida Stewart Tamba, wants everybody, including the international communities, coming into Liberia to pay their fair share of lawful revenue due Mama Liberia.
We want to work collaboratively with the multinationals, but at the same time, we want and we expect them to pay their own fair share of lawful revenues to the people of Liberia.
Domestic resource mobilization, as emphasized by President Sirleaf and CG Tamba, was further underscored at the recent National Revenue Symposium held at the Monrovia City Hall here in Monrovia.
I don't know plenty English, but that we supposed to carry the message in the interior to the people. I'm the chairman. I want to ask more questions. When Grand Jide or Nima County, in all the countries when we carry the message, when they pay the tithe will remain in the country or it will come to Monrovia.
Taxes from everybody in the counties, because many of the people even come to Monrovia to pay their taxes because the system is not right. But some of it is going back. It's going back to County Development Fund. It's going back for our county administrative assistance. So some of it is going back. But to say all of it collected will go back, we haven't reached there yet. But we had it down there.
LRA, a National Revenue Symposium with most needed awareness on tax as well as findings from the regional dialogue recently held in the country. Here's now CG Tamba with more on that as we look back at the symposium.
I mean, the day intended largely to raise awareness, first present the findings as we indicated earlier from the regional dialogues, and we were very happy and blessed also to have persons who actually participated in the dialogues join us here today. The presence of the president is a clear manifestation of the importance she attaches to domestic resource mobilization in our country. We have to transform tax administration in Liberia is a major task. It requires not only technical assistance but also logistical support. You are there with us. You see some of the daily operational constraints. So clearly we need all of our donors. We want to use this opportunity also to again publicly thank them for all of their support to the LRA, and we look forward to continuous fruitful engagement with them.
Tax is a sum of money demanded by a government for its support or a specific facility or services. With that, taxpayers have a huge role to play in its collection, as you hear from these participants at the symposium.
I think currently, if I'm not making a mistake, there may be 3 or 4. You need to at least, if you can add 2 or 3 more staff to them, that will help. The second thing is that receipt books. We know that during the rainy season, the grand dealer, the Southeast state, become very difficult to access. So in most instances, as a fiscal superintendent, interact with your staff on a number of occasions. And sometimes people go to make payment, they are out of receipt book. And when he's travel, the head travel to town for receipt book, sometimes it's going to take 1 or 2 weeks for him to get back due to the road condition. So I hope you will try to have a steady supply of receipt books that will serve them for the period of the rainy season. The third point is that the issue about awareness. If you were to consider doing some jingles and what have you in the local vernaculars, it will help. And I think the people are willing to pay their rightful taxes. Thank you.
Whether that is in the purview of the LRA, that should be another aspect of the government, mostly with the Controller Office. So I want to let Her Excellency and the panel know that that part of our public financial management system is not strong enough, and now it has led to people not being happy to collect the taxes.
My first is actually a recommendation. Considering the private sector has been an indispensable partner to the LRA, this is my first recommendation. Mr. Dulcer faculty spoke on a couple of issues, one of which caught my attention is partnership with the private sector. It's important that the private sector form a solid partnership with the LRA in order to have trickle-down effect of the kinds of results that the LRA wants to have. But most importantly, it's important to create tailor-based awareness and sensitization on the importance of paying taxes. And if it's just the LRA, they've always done it by themselves, then the question of what would I get in return becomes a reservation that a lot of private sector actors tend to have. So when you have private sector representatives forming partnership with LRA and going to these business people and letting them know that you can do this, the importance of doing this is that there are trickle-down effect that will come back to you. It sends out a sense of integrity. So the importance of having such partnership cannot be overly emphasized. My name is Emily Lapukuyu. I'm the Secretary General of the Liberian Business Association. Thank you.
Hello, Liberians. they pay our taxes. They pay our tax. Fellow Liberians, they pay our taxes. They pay our tax.
Lra says, they pay our taxes.
If we pay our fair share of revenue, we will get energy, we will get electricity, we will get water. You know, our schools will be built, our clinic will be built, our hospital will be built. You know, we will get roads going to our home, out from Swimmaker District. If I pay my taxes, road will go to Swimmaker District. If you're from Bogonjide or Grand Cru County or maybe Zwedru, Grand Jide County, there will be a modern paved road, a university being built there.
Compliance measures to get people to pay their due taxes to the government. What should you say towards that when it comes to putting the law into effect?
I think non-compliance should be punishable. You know, there's certain things that we have to understand our basic fundamental right as people and citizens. Let's look at the other countries. There's no country that is a utopia. Everything that is done here, it has to do with what you put in there to get out. You know, and then the taxes that you pay are the same taxes that the government uses to improve your livelihood. So I think it's just important that the people comply to that level.
When it comes to revenue and taxes, what the citizens should do to keep it going for the benefit of the country?
It is important. Without revenue and taxes, it becomes very difficult for government to improve the life of the citizen. One, without taxes, there can be no development. If you do not pay your taxes, say for instance, right now we have a challenge with roads and different other challenges that this government is faced with. If we pay our taxes, it means that we are telling government, you are responsible to us, especially when it comes to the social contract theory that the government has with what? The citizens. So without taxes, it becomes like, let's say the government will become so handicapped, and so government cannot in any way improve the lives of the people in the country.
There we have the LRA, Liberia Revenue Authority. What have you to say to them with respect to taxes and revenue?
We agree that the LRA is responsible to collect lawful taxes in Liberia, meaning it is a statutory mandate as provided by the House of the Legislatures. Again, in my mind, the effectiveness of LRA and the response from the citizens is also necessary. If LRA is effective and the citizens agreed to pay their taxes, that will help our country. Nevertheless, it is also important, it is incumbent upon the government that if taxes are paid, development must take place in an effect wherein people pay their taxes and the tangibles are not seen. It discourages the citizens from paying.
In order for the government to run, they need money, and government will get the money through taxes, where people pay various kinds of tax to the government, and the government use it to develop the country. The schools you see around, the hospitals you see around, the bridges, the road you want, government need to build them, and they can't build them with all the taxes. They need to collect the taxes to be able to build those roads and those schools. They also need taxes to pay the workers who are working for the government, the civil servants. Government need to also raise taxes to be able to pay the workers.
So what should be the responsibility of the citizens and residents of the country?
Every citizen of a country should be able to pay the taxes. You want your government to run, you want the government to do certain things for you, you want them to meet your basic needs. In order for them to meet those needs, you have to pay taxes, because you're in the country, the government providing security for you, they're providing your basic needs, and they need to run. So in order for that, you have to pay your taxes to the government.
People seem not to know that. The culture is not embedded yet in Liberia. You think so?
Of course. What I think LRA need to do right now is to get on their feet and need some guys who will go around and educate the people on paying the taxes. Most of the people in Liberia are not used to paying taxes. So when you introduce, especially when you talk about maybe you want to introduce house-to-house taxes, and then every citizen has to pay tax, people will complain. People will even go to demonstrate because they are not educated on paying taxes. So I think LRA need to get on their feet now to educate the citizens on paying the taxes.
Vani Sanko, thank you so much. A business student at the university.
The Liberia Revenue Authority, in furtherance of its mandate to administer tax in Liberia, has established at its headquarters what it calls the Taxpayer Advocate Service, TPAS.
The intent of this service is to bridge the gap between taxpayers in the LRA. We will be serving as the voice of taxpayers in the LRA, ensuring that our taxpayers know their rights and that their rights are protected.
Meaning Pega Kalon, the current head of advocacy at the Liberia Revenue Authority, with her team of case workers and protest managers, visiting with taxpayers at the different service windows established by the Liberia Revenue Authority.
The only thing that will encourage me to pay taxes to government all of the time is that when I come to pay my $5, if I still get a pen from you, let me get a pen and on time. The next time I'll be running to come and pay tax.
A Liberian taxpayer and a member of the Liberia Business Association LIBA with a former concern during a meeting with the LRA's Taxpayer Advocate Service. As per their mandate, Mrs. Kalon and her team then formally engaged the LIBA members in a roundtable discussion with their concerns being answered, having made a short presentation.
The essence of the Taxpayer Advocate Service is to assist taxpayers so that everything that you do, all of your processing can be done in a timely and efficient manner. If you want to benefit from this service, if you want us to help you to resolve your problems, we have several means of contact. We have our brochure out with frequently asked questions in another brochure to just explain, what the Taxpayer Advocate Service is all about. At the back of our brochure, we have our telephone numbers, our direct contact. We have a telephone for the Taxpayer Advocate Office. We have a cell phone and a Lone Star number. You can either call or text either of these numbers, or at the bottom of the brochure we have our call center at the LRA too. You can call the call center and they will transfer the call directly to us, or you can reach our office by email. The email address is also on the brochure. It's taxpayeradvocateservice@lra.gov.lr. Or better still, you can come at our office at URWA Junction right across from here on the 4th floor. You can come there and request, for our service.
So in the upper left corner you see 911.
We can arrange that.
Okay. You see 911. We named this phone 911 because probably if you are faced with a situation, you are requesting our assistance. It will be in the form of emergency or something that we have to speedily intervene. And then in the upper right corner you see area of concern. If the issue is with custom, you should be able to indicate it. If it's with domestic tax or what else section it is, here we got a tax division. You should be able to state clearly whether it's with custom, with domestic tax or whatever. And then we will require that you will have to write your name clearly and then indicate your taxpayer identification number. The city, maybe some people out of town like Banga, Kakata and the rest of it, the city should be indicated, the county should be indicated, the country, if also Liberia, because we have some of our taxpayers, they can call from all around the world. This form has been uploaded to our website too, so probably for some of you that have access to internet or whatever, you can easily access our form, at our website. And then the section 2 says you should clearly tell all the problems you are facing. You know, it should be clearly stated on the form. If the colon here is very small, you could write at the back of our form. We'll say how to turn it over and go through it. And B, 2B to that say you should also be clear with the description of the assistant that you are requesting the taxpayer advocate service to provide. So you should be clear with that. And the last portion for taxpayer here says you should write your name clearly, you sign this form, and then put a date, a month, and a year, so that you can render this, form valid for us to act on it.
You're talking about engaging in. You said before you come to you should have engaging to certain criteria, but you didn't go ahead and name what kind of criteria that you want the businesses to engage in before coming to your exact criteria.
Business, if the LRA has made a decision that will affect you or your business, then you can come to us and request taxpayer advocate service. And then the second question. Yes. If, for example, you have customs issue, you should try to resolve that issue with the relevant department, the divisions. You have tax clearance issue, you must first request for tax clearance. You should go through, submit all of the relevant documents that you're supposed to submit. You wait for the 3 to 5 days. After the 3 to 5 days, if you are compliant, if you pay all of your taxes, you up to date with all of your taxes. If you submitted all of your documents to the tax clearance center, then it is even with all of that, and after the 3 to 5 days, you still not getting your tax clearance, then you can come to us. That one will come in, because we don't want a situation where taxpayers will just not go through the process and they come straight to us and think we are just there to help you do what you are supposed to do.
For the fact that you have your container, and we have a situation at the port right now, you have 5 days grace period to clear a container. And you can't strike a problem like that. You cannot afford to leave the processing of your container to come to the advocacy because they have given you additional assessment. They can have 4%. The custom people do not even want to establish whether you are a taxpayer that have already paid your tax. 4% on your gross sales and all that kind of stuff. All the money.
The reason why I say you shouldn't pay the 4%, for so long to stop some ills in the society, if you're not satisfied with certain things, and you show within yourself that it should not be that way, I think sometimes it's good to go and follow up. So if you follow up and you know what you're paying the 4% for and whether you should not get a receipt, you know all that.
A taxpayer advocate service at the LRA is just one of many trade facilitation and better customer service when it comes to tax administration in Liberia. Minnie Pega Kalon and her case workers, along with other team members, are going to be out and about, standing and staying with taxpayer every step by the way in addressing issues when it comes to paying their fair share of lawful revenues due Mama Liberia. You're watching Tax Talk. Tax Talk is a presentation by the Liberia Revenue Authority, the LRA. It's everything about the taxes you pay to help grow Mama Liberia. And this has been Alvin Jask. Thanks you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Hello, Liberians, they pay our taxes. They pay our taxes. Hello, Liberians, they pay our